Welcome to the FBAA's Top Broker Podcast for mortgage brokers looking to take their business to the next level with your host, Joshua Vecchio.
And we're back once more with Jayden Vecchio for part 2. He's the director at Red & Co and is based in Brisbane. He was the FBAA's Commercial Broker of the Year. In this episode, we look at simple marketing hacks that generate you more leads. We then discuss how important the long game is in marketing. By the end of this episode, you're going to feel pumped in knowing how easy it is to generate new leads. So let's get in. Jayden, welcome back again.
Thank you, Josh.
So Jayden, you were a banker before you became a broker. What was that transition like?
It was not bad. That's been great. Like, it's been really great being liberated from the banks, from being managed and actually doing my own thing now. And it's amazing, 4 years ago when I left that pretty safe and secure job, like a lot of brokers, it's exciting. You think you get to do your own thing, but then at the same time, it's overwhelming because in the bank where you had a marketing department, you had a PR department, you had a HR department. As a broker, it's just you wearing multiple hats and just doing that. So yeah, in the beginning, I think like most of the guys out there, it was just me, my laptop, a business card and a kind of dodgy website and sort of going from there. And it was just about, like my mentor said, pounding the pavement, going out and meeting people and doing that. But yeah, over the last few years, it's sort of grown to the point where I've realized that it needs to be more than it's not just about one person. It's about building a brand, about building a business. And I've really changed my focus to really look at marketing, which I think is something that probably people might struggle with a bit in general because, we might be technically gifted and great at structuring deals or chasing down customers or doing sales. But marketing is always that weird sort of left brain thing that not everyone completely might feel comfortable with. And I was definitely like that. Like, it was just not something that really meshed well for me, but I knew to take my business to the next level, I really had to focus on it. So that's been one thing I think that's really changed.
And what do you do initially with marketing? Because marketing is such a broad subject. You could be doing online, offline, and everything in between. So what do you do?
Mate, so it was, like I said, it was just me, some business cards, and it was just kind of something I did on the weekend just because I didn't really want to spend the money. But I've really learned that, it's about doing dollar cost productive activities. So if I can be out writing a loan or helping someone out and earning the commission check on that, potentially, whatever that value is, I'm actually better off doing that than spending 2 days working on a business card or a pamphlet flyer or a website template that will take me, a lot longer. So I think that's been a really big value.
So you're
lesson.
getting experts to do the marketing and to advise you on the marketing for you.
Yeah, because again, I'm not an expert. So when we started in the beginning, I knew nothing about branding, about that, and it probably reflected how everything looked. And even to customers, whilst no one would say, well, your website looks a bit dodgy, it did. So yeah, one big takeaway thing I've learned is, you need to be clear who you're speaking to. So when I started, I was trying to do loans for first home buyers, for developers, people with defaults. I was the broker that would deal with anyone. And probably the first lesson I learned, in today's world, you need to be clear about who you're speaking to with your branding and your marketing. And if you want to target first-time investors, if you want to target commercial property developers, your brand should be reflective of that, and your marketing needs to speak to those people.
It sounds like you've put a lot of time and energy into your brand. What are some of the effective things that you've been able to implement that's had a big impact?
Mate, so the most effective things are the things you wouldn't realize, and I'll happily give these away because I think everyone needs to be doing it. So like I said, business card, laptop, website's all I had. Since then, working with a couple of really great marketing people, which it's actually not that expensive to do in the scheme of things. The single most effective piece of marketing they've ever done are these black, tight-ish gym shirts that I wear to the gym, I give to customers, I give to my staff, and they wear around the gym because it's amazing when you're exercising or working out, people tend to be a bit more chatty than normal. And they'll just ask you, what's Red & Co? What does that mean? What do you guys do? And it's amazing the referrals we've actually picked up from going to the gym by wearing branded shirts. So yeah, if I could say the one most powerful, most effective thing, it's actually, obviously being front of mind, but using these gym shirts and getting your brand out there. It's incredible.
Such a simple thing. You'd never think a $20 t-shirt would be getting referrals. And I think as brokers, we often think that we've got to be doing some crazy things to get referrals.
I think we all overcomplicate, and you think you need to do like an AdWord campaign or a Facebook thing or some sort of technical pamphlet fly out that's really sexy and offers the world. But yeah, like I said, the gym shirts have been insanely effective. Simple stuff like pens, like have you ever thrown a pen away that works? No. Like we get thousands of pens every month that we give to customers, to colleagues, to referral partners. And it's amazing because then, it stays on someone's desk. It says Red & Co. and people pick it up and use it. And it's just easy marketing. And it's cheap.
So Jayden, that's the offline stuff. I know you're really big into the online. You've got a podcast, Rentvesting. It's in the top 30 business podcasts in Australia. How is that affecting your business? How is that increasing your business?
It's huge. Content marketing is effectively, it's giving away videos, blogs, social media posts that might not necessarily directly promote your brand, but it basically stimulates a bit of interest in your products and the stuff that you do indirectly to build a bit of a base or a community, and then allows you to probably potentially market to them in the future. So yeah, the Rentvesting podcast I started probably about 18 months ago. It's effectively like this, a podcast on the internet that talks to young investors, sort of 25 to 35, looking at getting the property market. And yeah, it's pretty simple, just 10-minute episodes every week. Gets people pretty engaged, but now we're getting that out to sort of 10 to 15,000 people per month. And it really helps because it means it gives you a platform to promote my brand to and get in front of more people that I wouldn't have otherwise had access to.
So Jayden, a lot of brokers out there are going to think, well, I'm going to create a podcast and all I'm going to do is say, these are the best rates and you should talk to me. What is a podcast? And I mean, why would you do it?
Yeah, so it might all sound kind of like double Dutch or gibberish. Like with content marketing, unfortunately, it is the long way around. So you can't start a podcast or you can't start blogging or you can't start doing videos on Facebook and expect people to start throwing their loans at you the next day. So it definitely is part of a wider marketing strategy that's looking longer term because again, like you, Josh, and I think like a lot of brokers out there, we're not in this for the next 6 months, the next 12 months. We're talking 10, 15, 20 years down the track. So it's about building a sustainable business and a brand and the marketing around that. Added to that, it now gives me permission to talk to those people as their broker. I become their broker before their broker. The best example I can think of is I recently had my dishwasher that broke. It completely carked it. It was pretty annoying. I had to get a new one. So instead of being like my parents who probably would have gone straight to JB or Bunnings or whoever sells dishwashers and gone to buy them, I did the thing and jumped on the internet. Because they say with marketing now, there's sort of 3 stages of the buying cycle. So there's awareness, that first stage where you sort of know that you need a dishwasher and you look at the brands and you don't know which one's good or bad. Then the next stage is evaluation. So you start looking at reviews and whether or not you like it or not and try and work out if it's a good price. And then you go into the purchase phase where you go in, I'm going to go to Harvey Norman, I'm going to buy the Miele, whatever for this price and that's it. And it's the same in our industry. People go through, they don't wake up one morning and go, well, I'm going to buy a house or I'm going to get a mortgage. They usually start looking for their home loan options or they look at the banks or they look at, the different properties 6 or 12 months out. So the whole idea with this content marketing is really getting further down. So you want to become their broker right back when in the awareness phase, because it goes awareness, evaluation, then purchase. So you want to get in the awareness phase right down the beginning, because then now once they've been listening to me potentially on the podcast or they've been reading my blogs for 12 months, they're going to more likely go with me than someone else on the street.
So Jayden, you've done a lot of search engine marketing with Google, and I know you've gotten a lot of leads out of that. And also with this podcast, you've gotten a lot of clients and leads out of this podcast also. When we compare the two, Google versus a podcast, what have you found? What is the difference in terms of lead quality?
So I reckon it all comes down to one thing, and that's trust. So it's like, would you trust your own mother or father telling you to buy something or to do something, or would you trust a billboard on the side of the street? And that's what it comes down to. Doing the content marketing or doing a video or a podcast, whatever format it might be, whilst it might be a bit of a slow way around, you're spending, you're investing 6 or 9 or 12 months with that person, getting your content, getting familiar with you, seeing what you do, and you build up trust, which ultimately leads to a higher conversion rate. Whereas, if you go the scattergun approach and you put a billboard up on the side of the road, it's not going to convert as high. So definitely one thing that I've taken away is that the content marketing is just a lot more effective, and you get a lot better cut through and a lot better conversion just because there's a higher amount of trust involved with it.
Jaden, thanks for your time today. We've gotten huge insights in content marketing and marketing in general.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate the time.
So my big 3 takeaways for this episode was 1, engage expert advice. You don't need to do everything. There are people out there who can help you hone your message, help you with branding, and even assist with your marketing. 2, be very clear in who you're speaking to. Don't be all things to all people, because in the end, you become nothing to no one. And 3, marketing doesn't have to be complex to be effective. Simple things like shirts, gym shirts that is, and pens can generate leads. So what were your 3 big takeaways? Share your thoughts on our private Facebook group. Just search topbroker.com.au in Facebook. Until next time.